Welcome once again to another tutorial. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. As usual, I have a dress to sew or a dress to show you today. So that is what I want to make. It's a dress. Front side looks like peplum, or should I call it front side high and back low. So to get your fabric unfold, the fabric is unfold now. So what I'm going to do is my bust, sorry, because it's an half length. So my bust divided by 4 plus 3 inches for sewing allowance. And my bust divided by 4 plus 5 inches for the back. So let me go ahead to fold my fabric and come back to you. So this is my fabric unfold which I have here now. So what I got is I after getting my bust measurement plus 3 inches for sewing allowance for the front, then my back is plus 5 because of 2 inches for the zip. Why it is 3 inches for the front is because 2 inches is for sewing allowance and 1 inch is for that, making it 3 inches. So I have my half length plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. Why 1 inch for sewing allowance? Because after holding this half here and hold half here to join your down part and this one to join your shoulder, it will appear at your normal waist measurement. So that is it here. So this is very easy. So I want to cut both the front and the back together because this does not have the normal breast shape. It's just like a normal basic measurement for your top. So that is the formula which I want to use now. So what I want to do now is to get my shoulder measurement. And my shoulder measurement is 15 divided by 2 give me 7.5. So 7.5, that is what I have here. 15 divided by 2 gives me 7.5. So I have my 7.5 right here. And my armhole, I place my armhole at my regular armhole measurement, which is 9, or normal dot. I'm still going to shaping after sewing everything. I'm still going to shaping my armhole to the amount of armhole which I have. So that's how I do my own. So at this top part now, I'm going to come down for my shoulder slope by 1 inch. My shoulder slope. So at this armhole measurement, I'm going to place my shoulder measurement divided by 2 here. Shoulder measurement divided by 2. That's what I'm still going to place here like this. So after I place it there, from this point I get my bust measurement. I get my midpoint between here and here. I get my midpoint. And there is something I want to tell you about your armhole. So let me just use that calculation to get my armhole. So the formula to get your armhole is your bust measurement, your bust divided by 6 plus 2.5. So I'm trying to get my bust measurement divided by 6 now. That is the formula you can use. A bust divided by 6 plus 2.5. 2.5 gives me 9.5. Plus 2.5 gives me 9.5. So my 9.5, which I have here now, let me come over to cross check here. 9.5, which I have here now. So my bust measurement divided by 6 plus 2.5, 9.5 from this up to here now. So since I have my 9.5 now, I take out 1 inch for my shoulder slope. 1 inch for my shoulder slope. So I get from this point now to this point is 8.5. Get my midpoint between from 1 to 8.5. My midpoint is 4.2. 4.2. Why am I doing this? Because this formula works for everybody. Because you might be confused, or I might not show how to cut my armhole, and I want you to have something that will go for everyone. So If you go ahead to follow this shape, it will come out for anybody at all. I like doing things that even if you are not working with this body, anybody at all you are working with, any measurement you are working with, the formula will work for everybody. That is a simpler way to understand this our work. So most of my thing I do, I like telling you the formula that will work for everybody. That makes it easy to understand because this sewing of a thing is very simple to understand. So that is that. So my bust measurement is 41. So now I'm coming down to get my measurements for my bust and my waist. My bust measurement is 41. 41 divided by 4. Please pardon me. I like getting my work to be accurate. 10.2. I just want to confirm it. I wanted to say confirm. I was trying to confirm it. So this is my bust measurement now. Place at this your armhole point. 10.2 plus 2 inches. Because your front here, it is your down that needs that 3 inches because of the darts. So once I have it like that now, I come over to my waist. And my waist measurement is 36.5. 36.5 divided by 4 plus 3 inches. 36.5 divided by 4 plus 3 inches. That is what you need for your waist part now. So I have 9.2. 9.2 here plus 3 inches. Why this 3 inches is because 9.2, okay, 9.2 plus 3 inches. Why this 3 inches is because of my dart. My dart. So after holding my dart here, it falls back to the normal measurement. So with this now, we can go ahead to curve your armhole using your French curve or your armhole curve or whatever curve you have that can give you this curve. Go ahead to use it to get your own curve. So I'll go over to the neck. Now let me go over to the neck to get my neck width. Okay, my neck width is 3. This is a high neck. So my neck width is 3. And the depth of my neck, I'm still going to make it 3 because the neck is very high. Easy way to get your neck shaping 3. 3. Then you connect with your, you can still use your armhole curve to get this curve. Then connect from this one upward for the front. So for the back now, the depth of our neck will be 1.5 because your back is always higher than your front in terms of neck. It's always higher than your front. So I'll go ahead to cut out my back first before cutting my front. So you can see me cutting my back. I hope I am not too fast. You can see me cutting my back out just like this because it is basically the same shape which we are going to use. So this is perfect. Make sure you take note of the armhole the way I showed you on how to go. So it is out. Then nipple to nipple measurement, that's what we are going to apply here. So nipple to nipple measurement is 8. That's where your dart is going to be. And you give it a notch. Then from your 8 upward, I'm going to use 4.5 for her. 4.5, 8. This 4.5 does not go for everybody. Maybe next time I will look for a formula to give you. For this, I just use my initiative and calculation. So for the sake of beginners, whenever I want to drop something like this again, I will make sure I make a research and give you a formula on how to get the height of your dart. So for the back now, since I have 4 here, for the back now I'm going to make it I'm going to make it 11. 11. 6. Perfect. 11. Then half here, half 0.5, 0.5, making it 1 inch. So make sure what you have here applies to you on this side. How I make mine to be very easy for me to sew is that I will go ahead to fold it like after giving it a notch at the midpoint there, go ahead to fold it like this and iron. So when I iron now, I have my straight line. Instead of putting my shock again, I have my straight line. So whenever I turn to the other part, I will see my straight line. I just put my straight line down and to take my measurement which I use for this, for the other part that does not have any shock, then get my measurement to cut, to sew down. So very easy. So this is what I have now for my both my front and back block. Okay, almost forgot something. The neck for the front, go ahead to cut it out. I'm trying to make this class an interactive one. So go ahead to ask me questions anywhere you don't understand, and I will be glad to put you through. Even if it is possible for me to use pattern paper, I will do it. So I will go ahead to gum this with my ST. You should know ST by now if you have been following me. My ST and my paper gum for the lining, and I'm going to cut my lining exactly the same shape I did for the front and for the back. You should know this by now. If you are just coming, cut your lining exactly the same shape for the front and exactly the same shape for the back. And I'll put my ST on the front, on the main fabric, and put my paper gum, my light paper gum on my lining. So let me go ahead to do that. So I have put my ST and my paper gum both on the main fabric and the lining as I told you. And I have gone ahead to fold it the way I told you to do. So you can see how it is lying flat now. So when it turn open and when you want to sew with this mark, which I put as this your straight line here, I did the same for the back. It will enable you to sew on both sides easily without doing those connections to get your point here, drawing back new lines. If you follow this line, which I have here, it also appears at this other side. If you look closely, we see it at this other side. So your own now is to fold. Your own now is to fold. You should know that this channel is all about secrets. So if you own now is to fold and use your tape to get your ½ inch here, then sew to the position or the or the or the figure you want it to be, right? Sew it there with this your line ironed already. So that is it. So let me go ahead to sew both my lining and my fabric, my darts, then I'll come back to show you on the next move. I am really sorry because I have gone ahead to sew the neck, and I told you that I will show you after I have ironed my darts. I believe that was where I stopped. I don't know what's come up, like I don't know what's happened. I have gone ahead, so I just remember that I am training you guys how to go about this. I'm sorry. So after you've ironed your darts, go ahead to turn your neck and top stitch. I'm sorry because some people may not know how to do this neck sewing and top stitching. I'm sorry. So what I did was, after I have ironed my darts, you can see my fabric and my lining. I placed it right side facing right side. Like this, you can see this is the wrong side, this is the wrong side. Right side facing right side like this. And I sewed my neck. After I have sewn my neck, I notched it. You can see there's notches here, which I use my scissors to do. After notching it, I went ahead to top stitch it down. So after doing that, what I will do next now is to sew my side. I will sew it close with the allowance you keep for your sewing there. So for this back also, I did the same thing for the neck, which I did for the back, for the front. I did the same thing for the back. So what you're going to do now, this is your zip, because this side now is the zip area. This is your armhole, this is your side, and this is your zip for the back. So here now you're going to fold it like this. You can see what I have here. You can see my thread here. I'm going to fold it, don't keep it like this. Make sure it goes like this. Then sew it down, closed. Sew it, then you sew it closed. Sew it closed, then sew this other part also. So you're going to do the same thing for this other side. So let me go ahead to do that. Okay, so I have gone ahead to sew my sides as I told you, both for the back. So what you'll do next now is to turn it inside out. Bring your inside out. This is it. And for this part also, turn your inside out. This point, make sure you put something in to push it out, just like this. So what I will do next, after pushing everything out, I'm going to iron it. Make sure you always work with iron, because you can see me, I always work with iron. So I'll go ahead to iron it without wasting much of your time. Okay, so I have done my ironing. As you can see, this is my inside. You can see how neat it is when working with iron. It makes your work even easier. You can see I have also ironed the back. As you all may know, for those that have been following me, how to get your zip very easy. How to get your zip, place your front on your back like this, and use your shock to draw out your straight line down. Just use your shock to draw out your straight line. And this is for your zip. So what I'm going to do now, because I can see my shock, the line of my shock now, I'll go ahead to sew it down. So let me go ahead to sew, then come back to you. So I have sewn my zip as I showed you. I have sewn it down. So what we'll do now is to iron. Spread it open like this, sprinkle water. The iron to get your zip, the space for your zip. Make sure your iron is not too heat or not too hot. Rather, make sure it is heat but not too hot. So you don't burn your lining or your fabric. That is very, very important for you to do. So iron just like this. I haven't been showing you this part, so I just decided to show this. So this was how to go about this. So once you have it ironed like this, so it has guaranteed you that once you tear open, you will see the line in between for your both sides. So you place your front on your back, then you pin. So at this note, I have my fabric pinned both the front and the back together. So what I do now is to get my bust measurement and my waist measurement. That is what I will do now. So as you may know, my bust is 41, but it will give me 10.5. So how I get my measurement? Sorry, give me 20.5, because it is 41 divided by 20.5. So from this end here to here, I have 20.5. 20.5 now. What is left here is 3 divided by 2, give me 1.5. I place 1.5 here, and I take 1.5 to this other part here. So to my waist now, my waist measurement is 36.5. 36.5 divided by 2 will give me 18.2. So 18.2, that is what I have here. 18.2 from this end to this point here is 18.2. So what is left here divided by 2? What is left here now is 3 divided by 2, give me 1.5 at this side, 1.5 here, and 1.5 here. That's just it. Then connect it to this one, just like this. How to get your accurate body measurement. Connect it to this other part. So that is it. So what I'll do now is to sew down. So I'm going to go ahead to sew it down. I have sewn my side and I went ahead to sew the shoulder, my 1 inch, which I told you I will keep for the shoulder joining. So I sewed from here down here and sewed like this. If you've been following me, that's how I sew my shoulder. So I have done that. So I'll go ahead now to iron it open and iron the side of the main body. So let me go ahead to do that. Okay, so I have gone ahead to iron it open so you can see, then put it like this. You can see what I'm doing. Put it like this, the shoulder. So I did the same thing for this other part. And I to iron this open for the side as I told you. So that is that. Turn it out. Turn it out like this. Then that is it. So I'll go ahead to iron it. Let me iron it. So I have ironed it. And at this note now, I'm going to make the down part of our dress. So you can go ahead to put your peplum here. You can make this as your half length, put your peplum, straight gown, whatever style you want to make with this. So let me go ahead with what I'm making for the day. So let me go ahead to place it. Okay, so this is the down part which I want to cut now. I have folded my flare to semi-flare, as you can see now. So this is my waist region. I have my mark there for my waist. If you look closely, this is my waist here. And this is my full length down to this point. Here it's my full length. So how I was able to come about this flare now, I want to show you briefly on how I was able to calculate it. So let me go ahead to spread it open first for you to see. So as you can see now, my fabric is being spread and folded into two. So it is having right side facing right side. If you look closely here now, you will see the end part of this that was put on this other one here. That makes it two. So you can see the edge here is unfold. There is no slit here. Here is unfold. If you take a look, you can see there is unfold. So after you have placed your fabric like this, make sure you have calculated your fabric to get your full length. This is minus my half length at the up. I have my length here. So let me cross check to tell you the amount I got here now. So I just did a cross check and total of what I have here is 57. After I have calculated everything and come to the conclusion of my full length, and I minus my half length. I minus my half length to get this. So let me go ahead to spread it into into my full circle. So what I will do next to spread it is to take this very end that you are seeing here now. I'm going to fold this end like this. You see, I'm going to fold it to straighten it that way. That was how it was before I spread it open for you to see. So let me go ahead to do that. So this is my fabric being spread, and as I told you, minus my half length from this point here downward is my full length, and from here I have my circle. I have my waist measurement from here to here. From here, let me bring it close. If you look, you will see from here to here I have my zipper allowance for the back, and from here to this position here now is where I have my front. Let me say here to here is my front, and from this other line here to here is my back. You can see my zip allowance at this edge here. That is for my back. So after that, I got my waist circumference here, calculated it to get my waist circumference plus my back for zip allowance. So from here now to here minus my half length to the full length, plus my half length, I have my full length here plus my sewing allowance from this end to this part here now minus my half length, I have my full length plus my sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead now to cut out to show you, because you're still going to get your measurement from here, how to cut your flake from here to here, from here to here, like that, in a way to cut out my circle. So I'm going to cut out my circle because this is a high front and low back. That's what I want to make now. So let me go ahead to do that. So right here now, I have marked out my full circle, my full length down to the end there. As you can see, I mark it down to this end. If you look closely, you see my shock that I have here now. So I have gotten my full length. So what I will do now is to cut it out. A cut out for the waist. Then I will iron to get my side. I will iron to show an indication of my side, because I'm going to create a low front to get my high back. That's what I want to do now. So let me go ahead to iron after cutting to get my side. Okay, so you can see it now. I have cut out the up and the down. I went ahead to iron this to get my center front. So this is my front and that is my back, because I'm going to drive my front to be shorter than the back. I'm not going to join this to be full, but if you want to make a full dress, you can go ahead to make this full and leave it like that. Go ahead to join it with your material, make it full and leave it like that. But for this case, I want this front to be low and down to be high, so it will come like this. But first of all, I will go ahead to join this. I will go ahead to join this part to the upper body, a half length. So after joining it, before I will go ahead to trace out. So let me go ahead to join it and come back to show you how it will look. But before you join, make sure you get okay, so this is still my side. You can see my side, my zip allowance, and this is my front. So what I will do now is to notch the midpoint to get my center midpoint. I'm going to notch the midpoint between these ends, just pray to get a midpoint. So I'm going ahead to do that on my upper bodies of the fabric, so you understand. The main block now, the half length, I'm going to rip this off where I sewed to be my zipper allowance. So after ripping it off, what I will do now is to place it like this. Okay, so what I did, just place it like this to get my midpoint, just the way I did for my lower body. Get my midpoint. So I'm going to join the midpoint of my lower body to this one round. So go ahead to do that. Okay, so I have joined my up and my down together. So after joining it, I get my full length for my front plus 2 inches for sewing allowance. Full length for the front plus 2 inches for the sewing allowance. You know, from this part upward is 17. So from the 17 there, I put my tape down to this point, my full length plus 2 inches for sewing allowance, because I'm going to fold. So this was how I connected my, because here is the up, so the front is going to be higher than the back. So I went ahead to just roll my chalk like this, take it like this down to this point, just like this. I roll it like this, as you can see. I shape which I gave it. So I'll go ahead to cut it out. So this is what this shape looks like after cutting out. So I will go ahead to fix my zip and sew the back side down to confirm how it looks before doing anything. If I have to trim, I will still confirm it after fixing my zip. Then I'll try it on the mannequin to confirm if it is okay. After I did that, now you can see how it looks. The style is out exactly the way I wanted it to be. That is what is here now. You can see the front, low front and high back. You can see how it looks. So what I will do next now is to sew it round. I can't imagine how it will look when my client puts it on. I can't imagine. So this is, you can see how it looks. So let me go ahead to sew it around my rough edges. These parts, I'm going ahead to sew it around all through. Then fix my sleeve. Then voila, we are done. So let me go ahead to do that. Quickly, I want to show you guys on how to get your sleeve. So what you do now, what you do now is your armhole. Calculate your armhole. So, let me calculate my armhole. So this is my armhole which I have here now. So let me see my armhole 9.5, which is divided by 2, which is 19. So I have in total here 9.5. If you remember, that was what I got when starting. So I have 9.5 now. I don't want to waste time. So 9.5, which I have there now. What I will do now is to get my 9.5 from my pattern, which is unfolded like this. This is my pattern 9.5. 9.5. This is the mark of 9.5 to be for me to fold. So right here now I have my 9.5 and my sleeve length is 10 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. I make it 11. So I have my 11 here. So my cap height for my sleeve is 4. My sleeve cap height is 4. I'm going to apply the 4 here. Then what I'm going to do next is to connect it from this point to this point. Connect it like this to get my sleeve. Connect it like this. Then connect this part also together like this. My sleeve length plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. Then my round sleeve is 14. So 7 plus 7 gives me 14. So I'm just going to put 1.5 inch for sewing allowance in case she said I should increase the sleeve width. It will be easier. So I just including 1.5 inch. You can make it 1 inch because I'm going to use lining for this. So if I use lining to fold in 1.5 inch, the remaining one here now I'm still going to. So this 1.5 is okay for my sleeve because I'm going to use lining for it. So I have my 1 inch there now. Connect it to this point here. Connect my 1 inch down here. From this point now, connect it to this end. Just like this. So once I have done that, what I need to do now is to get my midpoint between this point, this end, and this end up here. So what I have here is 10.5 divided by 2 will give me 5.2. This is my 5.2 here. That indicates that this is my midpoint between here and here. So at this point I'm going to come up by half inch, and here I will come down by half inch. So here I come down by half inch, and this midpoint I go up by half inch, and I connect like this. If you have your French curve, it will be easier for you to connect like this. So I go ahead to connect my sleeve just like this. And from here I will meet this one, this half inch I have at this down here. Meet this half inch here, then I connect it like this. So hope you can see what I just did here. So my sleeve is out. As simple as ABC. Sleeve is as simple as ABC. My sleeve is out. So I'll go ahead to draw it out. Okay, so I have my sleeve cut out now. So I'll go ahead to cut my fabric. Sleeve cut out with my pattern. Oh, my pattern. It's my pattern, my sleeve cut out with my pattern. And then I cut out the lining also equally. The same way I cut out my sleeve is equal with my pattern. I always told you, I've told you before that whenever you're cutting your lining, it should be equal with your main fabric, but not all the time. So what I will do next now is to sew my half-inch here from my sewing allowance, or 0.3 inches downward. Then I turn and top stitch on my lining. So go ahead to do the same for this other part. Let me go and do that. Okay, so I have done just what I told you. I have sewed it and top stitch on it like this. I top stitch. So what I will do next is to fold like this. So when you want to sew, you fold like this. You can sew, start from either ways to sew. You can see how I fold it. You can see how it is like this. You can see there's no lining train out here. So you can see like it's folded like this. So when you fold like this, you sew down and you sew down. So I'll go ahead to sew it, then I turn up for both. I have done just I opened it and ironed it. So what we'll do now is to run a stitch here to hold your cap together. Hold it together with this part with your sewing machine. Sew it down to hold it so that it will meet there. Then after that, because I'm not going to show you the rest part again. After that, you're going to take your sleeve measurement. So you can see why I took 1.5. Take your sleeve measurement, which is 14, like this. Then 9.5 for your sleeve. So just like this, go like this to get your 9.5, which is there. Connect it down like this. Then you sew. After you have sewn it, what you are going to do now is to notch. After you have sewn it, what you are going to do now is to notch. So this is your notched part now. Let me bring the main fabric for you. So this is the armhole which I am holding right now. So what you are going to do for this armhole, you are going to sew the same stitch you sew at your sleeve to hold it together with the lining. So you're going to sew it round to hold it together with the lining. Then this is your notched part now, which I notched after everything. This part which I notched. After you have sewn it and torn, make sure you trim out every excess that is coming out, like this excess now. Once you have hold your fabric, you trim it out to be equal with your sleeve. So once you have done that now, this part which I notched now, that is the upper part. So you are going to put that notched part exactly at this your line, this your shoulder line here now. Then you sew it down and stop at this armhole, this under part. Then from here again, you sew it down and meet here. That is it. So you can see it is late already. So I won't be able to show you those parts or those areas. So just go ahead to do it the way I just showed you now. So thank you. I don't know if I will show you the full part, but let me see what I can do. So okay, stay safe. For now, bye. Okay, so I changed my mind. I decided to show you guys on how to go about this. So as I told you, you can see I have sewn round my armhole. I did the same for this other part also. I sewed round the armhole. You can see that I sewed it round. And on the sleeve also, I sewed it round and I trimmed it. You can see how it is neat. I trimmed the excess lining that was there. So all I need to do, you can see my notch here, which I notched. So you can see my notch. All I will do now is to put it on the shoulder. This is my shoulder line now. This is my notch. Look at where the notch is located. The notch is located at the cap sleeve, the cap height, rather. So you can see the cap height here, which means this is the down part that has the joining. This is my joining for the down part. And this side has no joining. So this, you can see the notch here. So what you are going to do is to put your notch on your shoulder line. So you can see my shoulder line. Put your notch here. What you will do is to sew from this point, half inch, down to this point. Then you turn it over and sew from this point again down to this point. Let me go ahead to do the both sleeve and come back to show you how it looks. So I have joined my sleeve as shown. So you can see how it looks. Very neat, and it stops at the under armhole. You can see this is the armhole. You can see the joining, which I used to join the sleeve from the side, and you can see the side joining also. So this is how it is. So the same thing with this other armhole, I did join the sleeve the same way I did for the other. So you can see how it looks very neat and nice. So I went ahead to sew here as I told you. So I have sewn it all through. But yeah, I'm still going to put a flower design. I have not bought it yet, but I'm still going to put a flower design. I don't know if I will show you how to put that. I don't really know. So what I will do next is to iron. So I will go ahead to iron it and put it on the mannequin. But the bust of this is bigger than my mannequin, so it will not come out as expected, unlike when my client will put it on. So let me go ahead to do the ironing and put it on the mannequin for you guys to see how it looks on the mannequin. So let's go there. So you can see how it looks. Very nice. It comes out exactly as we wanted. Exactly. So you can see how the back looks like. And you can see the front. You can see the side. I was able to pin it at the back, so it will be able to fit in the dummy a bit, so that to show you the view. So you can see how it looks. Very nice and beautiful. So just go ahead to make yours. Let's go ahead to make yours because it's very, very lovely. Thank you. So I am almost through with the flowers. I have gone far, far, far with my flowers. I just want to show you how far I have come and how I started. So you can see my flowers, it goes all around. So you can see, so how I was able to put my flowers here. That is what I want to show you now. You can see my thread, which I have. I have my thread tied at the end of it, and I put my flower like this. I look for this rough edge here. You can see there's something like net here. So the net face, I make sure it faces down, and I stretch it a bit, but I do not stretch, I make it to be free. So when I look for the midpoint, I spread it to look for where the sewed. So this is the clear version of the flower. So here is the middle of it. Then I put my thread under it, and I make sure it is holding the flower. Then I drag, and I will pass this 2 to 3 times. Go ahead to pass this 2 to 3 times for it to hold tight. So then I tie at the bottom of it. Go ahead to tie here. Tie it just like this. You can see how I did it. You can see my thread. I throw it like this. Bring my hand and I put it here. I'm tying it again. then I cut my thread. So this was how I was able to do all of it. So I will go ahead to do the rest part just the way I showed you. Do this, make sure you do it separately, then you cut, do this separately, cut until you complete it. So let me go ahead to do that. Then I'll put it on for you to see how it looks.